You're welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's time for the front pages, and we have with us a distinguished gentleman. He is the head of strategy and public affairs of Nairametrics, Mr. Uade Ahimie. Thank you so much for joining us on this very busy, politically busy Thursday morning. And I'm sure all the newspapers would have that correlation as their headline. Please, can we have the Punch? Let's put up the Punch. Let's punch you into the news. Yes, front page of the Punch has predicted Atiku Obi Mark launch ADC to unseat Tinubu. The writer says over 20 former governors, ex-APC, PDP big wigs, Buhari's ministers join coalition. ADC faction rejects takeover. Is he really an ADC faction or Mr. Dumebi Kachu? But we'll get to that. There's also MAN, that's Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, not MAN as in gender. Marketers rally for refinery privatization as $3 billion repairs falters. So we've done turnaround maintenance after turnaround maintenance, and it's just like we're throwing money into the waste bin. We'll discuss that if we have the time. U.S. jails France-based Nigerian 41 months for $8 million fraud, and Rep 6 emergency relief for Niger Kwara flood victims. The Nigerian must review 2025 budget to avert crisis, IMF warns. Okay, we'll start with the big one. Atiku Obi Mark launch ADC to unseat Tinubu. Do you think the APC should be jittery by the caliber of who is who in Nigerian politics that we saw at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center in Abuja yesterday?
Are we seeing a repeat of 2014, 2015? When new money bags come into...
It's almost like deja vu feeling.
When new money bags come into a league, then you get all the best players.
It's true.
And I'm not sure they've got in the best players. There are some retired players that
all the
trying to make a comeback.
The Cristiano Ronaldos are there in terms of Mr. Peter Obi. You have the Messis.
Obi cannot be Ronaldo.
You have the Messis in terms of Atiku. Yeah, so if you're looking at political league, who is left?
How many leagues have those ones won in the last 4 years?
Maybe no, they've won at the lower divisions. They won the Anambra League, and one of them was the former vice president.
There are some retired figures. There are some figures who should have been retired, who are trying to stage a comeback. I don't see this like the Man City that came out in 2015, 16, or 2017. But what I see today is, yes, new money bags are coming in. Maybe we'll get an issue, we'll get like Paris Saint-Germain. You know how they started the year on a poor note and they ended up on the
winning
the European Championship, winning their league, winning their FA. They won like 4 trophies. So let's see how this goes. But I do think, in my opinion, the Nigerian political league. We've been talking about when will the transfer season fully open, and you can see this transfer season now is open. It is finally open.
Okay.
The P League
new contenders
is ready. So there's a new team, there's a new club that has just been put together. There's new money that will be put into the club. Let's see which kind of players.
Well, the current leaders, the APC, should they be worried or jittery or concerned?
Well, so you see, usually, and that's why I think this is the best time for them to have come in. Like I said, when I use Man City as an example, you saw when big money came in, they now started to get the big players. And within 2-3 years, when they got the big players, they won the title, and then they got the best coach. So let's see how it goes. Maybe their strategy will provide the best coach for 2027, who would change the fortunes of the team. But I see between now and when the election fever starts to pitch up, I would see...
You don't think it started?
No. You would see the recruitments. Let's see how the recruitment...
Are you saying that the APC would have more people come to their side? Because right now, it seems like the number of persons we saw yesterday, I mean, let's not beat around the bush. These are heavyweights in terms of names in the political space. And we saw them gather yesterday at the Shehu Musa Yar'Adua Center. whether we like it or not, I mean, I'm just going to reiterate Benga's question to you. Is it enough to tremble, to shake the APC?
My opinion, I don't think, and I will explain why. Look at 2014, are you with me? It was a coalition of 2-3 parties, big wigs from 2-3 parties, including the ruling party at that time. I haven't seen any big wig move from the championship team. Are you with me? Can they hold on to their players over the next 6 to 18 months? Will tell me.
I mean, a lot of, just to interrupt you there, a former national chairman of the ruling party is part of the coalition.
Yes. And you heard what I said at the beginning. There are some figures who are retiring and trying to stage a comeback.
Okay, so is it because of their retirement age that they are moving to the ADC?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that some players who have reached their peak and they need places.
I mean, if you have fans,
let me finish.
You can't have.
You won't let me finish the analysis.
just interjecting.
Yes. You're interjecting me. So let me finish so that you will understand. Now, what I'm saying is this: you need to groom a new team, so you need experienced players. They have reached the
so they are player coaches.
Yeah, so they are now pitching for those who can now start to groom the next set of players. And grooming it takes at least a season or half a season, and let's see the kind of matches that they're going to play. Who are the people they are going to go into the market and bring into that team? And that's really where the focus will be. Who can they pull out? Who are some of the big stars in the championship team that they can actually pull out? But when you tell me that, like you said Ronaldo and Messi, one plays in Saudi Arabia, the other one plays in America. Which leagues are they playing in? Please spare me. Yeah, they are stars, don't get me wrong, and they'll be stars till they retire. But even Ronaldo's team did not go to the World Club Championship.
But they won
and Messi's team lost 4-0 to the European champions. So that's what I'm talking about. You can see, can they turn out to become a mold of what PSG became at the end of the season? That's the question we need to start asking ourselves. Who can they get in that transfer market that is not just big, but could make that difference and that impact on that team? Let's wait and see.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that the game, sports show, they are watching you and they're going to poach you very soon.
No, they can't poach me. They can't poach me.
Let's quickly check out another paper, the Vanguard. The Vanguard newspaper this morning, 2027. Atiku, Obi, Amechi, El-Rufai, others take over ADC as expected. Everybody's talking about it. But I like the rider on that paper. It says, emergence of coalition has made APC stronger, according to Keyamo. And I want our guests to react to that. But let me look at the other headlines. Hunger, inflation, fueling insecurity, Methodist prelate tells Tinubu. Review 2025 budget, IMF tells federal government. I should believe that's the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, DG to federal government. Sell worry Port Harcourt refineries, others now. Senate to CBN. Your policies have improved economy. So many other stories. It's not only politics to talk about. Let's first of all still lightly touch on the APC, the impact of the emergence of the ADC on the APC. Keyamo believes it makes the APC stronger.
Apparently.
Do you agree, or you think that the APC is somewhere plotting their comeback?
Well, I don't know whether it makes them stronger, but what I think it will do is it will make them more defensive oriented. Why? To make sure they keep their slack.
Change formation.
Yeah, they will change their formation. So now maybe they will move from 3-5-1 and play 6-3-1. So you have to defend.
As parking the bus.
Yes, well, like Chelsea, so you have to defend your goalposts. So I think that's what Keyamo is speaking about. It will make them stronger. Why? And maybe, like they are searching for a new assistant coach. Let's see who it is. So the market is really, really interesting. But
Keyamo saying it's going to make them stronger. Apparently, it's been how many hours since this coalition meeting was held? We haven't gotten a statement from some of the popular SSAs.
No, it's coming out. You just wait before.
I know, but we're expecting that it would have come very quickly. But Keyamo has taken the bull by the horn to speak up for them, saying it's going to make them stronger.
The statement that was made was very clear. We are setting up a new coalition. New money has come into town. So now let's go back and start to implement our strategies. Which players can we get from the championship team?
But they already have some big names, though.
The regular runner-ups, like my team, Arsenal. I know you are happy now. And that's what Keyamo is talking about. We saw what happened to Man City this season. They didn't show up their defense, and see, they were woeful. So I do think what Keyamo is telling the ruling party is that you need to change your formation, pack the boss, make sure you keep your strategic players. Are you with me? That will make those changes and keep those changes in place and ensure victory in 2027.
Fantastic analysis. Sports viewers might be they'll feel biased that while we're using football analogy, it would be nice to do this again next week using cricket.
I would do whatever sports, even if it's handball. Okay. We would find the narratives for them. But we know what we are sure is that the Nigerian MPL transfer season has kicked off on July 1.
Absolutely.
Let's move away from politics a bit and talk about the potential sale of refineries. So there's a position that's saying sell Warri, Port Harcourt refineries and others now. Do you agree?
Yes. I've agreed with it since as far as I can remember. Because, you see, it's either you do that or you let the people who run those refineries run like a business and source crude the way they are supposed to source crude, not just straight at their feet, and nobody accounts for it. And nobody brings back the money for the cost of the crude. And every day you have a hole. We can't have 4 refineries. Nigeria, I always say this, and I continue to say this, Nigeria's pipeline network is probably one of the most sophisticated in the world. It was new technology. It was built when pipeline networks were becoming a mainstay in moving petroleum products. And here we are, 40 years after, 50 years after, and we're still struggling.
So what happens to accountability? Those that the EFCC questioned last week, all the monies that has been spent on turnaround maintenance, would you say we flushed it down the drain, it can't be recovered? Because, I mean, you can't just let people get away with
accountability
this sort of...
For who?
To the country, for the money
so
spent.
Accountability to the country. By who? Those who...
Law enforcement agencies.
Which ones?
I mean, those that are in charge of fighting corruption.
I don't know the statistics. But
EFCC, Nigerian Police, ICPC.
EFCC, on the front pages of the newspapers and the press and the media, they've won more convictions than...
in real life.
Going through the judicial system. So you question someone, I don't know what that means. Investigation...
Because it was headline last week.
It's not my business who you question. It shouldn't be my business who you question.
You want to see results.
What I want to see is, have you taken the person who you are questioning to court so that the judge can look at the case? Every time they go to court, their cases are 7 out of 10 thrown out for lack of one thing or the other. But on the pages of the newspaper, we've recovered...
Or we are arrested, or
we are arrested,
we're questioned.
or we are questioned. You can come in for questioning over, and I would answer the questions. Does that mean that if you put it on the front pages that a New Central analyst was questioned? Who am I? What big deal? And if I didn't do anything, I didn't do anything. If you have the records, you show it. Because there are systems and there are records and there are approval processes. So let's see.
They show workings for people that are spraying money, though. They are very excited about that.
Well, I'm not an advocate of spraying money.
All right, I want us to look at the final paper this morning, the Nigerian Tribune. And on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, again, PDP, APC bigwigs take over ADC as party emerges coalition's choice. Mark Arebeshola named chairman. Secretary Oyegun, CPC caucus and APC join. Mosu's NWC disowns publicity secretary. Tinubu leading Nigeria to creeping dictatorship, David Mark says. Constitution review, reps receive 46 states, 117 local government areas creation bills. 6 citizens imputes during zonal public hearing in 12 centers nationwide. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Edo governorship election case. 47% of Northwest lacks access to financial services, says Minister. Mokwa flood, 500 confirmed dead. Over 600 still missing, reps say. Raise alarm over possible disease outbreaks in IDP camps, and affected areas. I think we should talk about Mokwa flood again. And so it doesn't seem like right now everybody's talking about politics, which is the truth. Politics, election, and the other key areas are not really, being highlighted. If you go back to the Punch paper that Benga had taken earlier, you will see at the bottom right of the Punch newspaper as well, reps seek emergency relief for Niger Kwara flood victims. So with all of this going on, the whole distraction of there's a new coalition, we're counting down to 2027, we're trying to unseat President Tinubu. Where do the Nigerian people come in all of this?
Go and register, go and start to hound INEC to get your voter's card. And in 2027, troop out as Nigerians. This is a country where we don't even get 50% of the registered population voting. And I say this, many of us are guilty, but not only young people. It's not Twitter we are going to vote on. Nobody is speaking to INEC now. All those who are, I don't know how many people INEC have registered that turned 18 since 2023. I'm sure there are millions. But nobody is speaking to that. Instead, we are all thinking, we will unseat President Tinubu by sitting in our homes and not having a voter's card. INEC says they want to do electronic voting. Nobody is speaking to that. The ones that were the beavers and all, nobody is speaking to that. Instead, we are all concentrating on how we would unseat Tinubu.
I want to follow up on what Olive said. Nobody is talking about these issues. Your response is get voters card, be politically active. But how many people will even live to 2027? We're talking of real life issues. There are people that don't even know where their next meal will.
Are you telling me that 50% of the population will... No, I don't want you to land because...
I have to land.
No, because that's how you've also done for me. Are you telling me that 50% of the voting population would have died by 2027?
No, I'm not saying that. So, and I didn't infer that. I said, what can people actively do to force governance? Are you telling me that the number of people who would have died between now and 2027 will be more than those who have turned 18 since 2020. Anyway, that's not what I was inferring.
I'll come back. We do have a caller, Mohammed from Port Harcourt. Mohammed, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, Mohammed, please go ahead. Calling from Port Harcourt.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Elijah Hassan Mohammed Ndaba. Good morning. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
All right, please go ahead.
Go on.
The coalition party flagged by prominent Nigerians, ADC, is a very big relief for Nigerians as a people because it pushes the balance and the checks and balances of power. Because as far as I know, the executive and legislative.
Oh, we lost that there.
So just to respond to Uade, yes, my argument is this. There are real life issues. There are things that are affecting the lives of Nigerians at the moment. Some cannot even wait till 2027. Are we going to take a 2-year gap on governance and on holding politicians accountable because we are waiting to go to the ballot box? What real life issues, what advocacy can they do to force good governance and to have a more responsive government? That's my question.
Okay, so let me piggyback on what I said. One of the strongest advocacy is starting now to hand INEC and not 6 months before the election. And we want a voter's card. We want to know how we're going to vote in 2027. Are you with me? Mm-hmm. How do we? It is not just to wake up 2 months to the election and say we're distributing voters card and then we'll see 1 million voters card under the bridge. If you don't start early, like the politicians are doing, they started speaking about 2027 elections. We're just halfway in 2025. We, the populace, yes, we have a plethora of issues: economic, social, infrastructural. The only way we can make that change is when people hear our voices, when we all go out and stand for what we want. And standing for what you want is your voter's card and you ensuring that you speak to Nigerians that at least 60-70% of the Nigerian populace who registered to vote go and vote, protect their votes, and ensure that if you want a change, then you must start from me.
Fantastic.
Fantastic answers. But then again, I want us to go back to some of the critical issues there. Olive had mentioned the Mokwa flood. It seems like attention has shifted. Everyone is focused on the political issues, which is the coalition and so on. Whether we like it or not, Nigeria has turned out to become a very politically driven state. So far, so good in the past few years, since 2023. Political conversations have increased so much, but that doesn't mean that we don't look at the natural disasters that have occurred. Mokwa flood, just with that header again, Nigerian Tribune, 500 confirmed dead. Remember that the numbers were a bit sketchy, we're going back and forth, but now there is a confirmation, over 600 still missing, so 600 persons cannot be found. I think the key area for me here is that possible disease outbreak is what that's being feared in the IDP camps. And it's about time for the Niger State governor to do something. I think that's a focus that we want to bring, especially here.
I don't think
on
he can
Breakfast Central.
I think one of the things he can do is first and foremost reach out to the federal government for the federal relief fund, which is what the standard would be. If you cannot,
But it has security.
security votes are for this kind. This is
natural
this
disaster.
is natural disaster. Thank you. And for those kind of things, the federal government usually will assist considerably those states who are affected. But the other thing for me is that I was reading the Nigerian Climate Outlook, a document that was put together by, I can't remember the name of the organization, but it's all looking all doom and gloom. Heat, more heat wave, more flooding, less food production. But there are things that we can do, simple things that we can do to create those sustainable paths. How are we protecting our environment? Not just about what's it called? How are we politically aware to ensure that by 2027 we believe in our minds and in our souls and in our bodies that those who will be elected into offices are those who are going to serve us, who are going to lead Nigerians as servants, and not lead Nigerians as I don't know the word for it. And those are the things that we need to do. Unfortunately, 500 people have died. This is it has become, it's becoming the norm. Instead of a natural disaster, it's becoming the norm because every year we go through this thing. Condolences to the families of those who have lost their loved ones. The 600 who are missing, I do pray and hope that we would be able to find all of them, but there are no guarantees for that.
And then how do we ensure that this doesn't happen again? Because we've already gotten into the rainy season and the potential of more floods happening. It's there. There have been warnings. NEMA has released warnings.
And it's by building the infrastructure, educating the people, maintaining those infrastructure, because the dams are going to start getting full. They're going to overflow. Sometimes you have to release waters for those dams into places that are susceptible to flooding. And these are the things that those agencies that are responsible, the governments of the states, local states, and one of the headlines that you put, the 117 local governments. I'm more an advocate of having more local governments than having more states, because that's where the grassroots are. How do you spread that message if you don't have enough people or enough communities being spoken to by those who lead them? So.